Understanding economic growth, the Solow Model. Economic growth is crucial for improving living standards. The Solow Model is a fundamental economic theory. It helps us understand how this growth happens. The Solow Model explains long-term economic growth. It focuses on the roles of capital, labor, and technology. It demonstrates how they contribute to an economy's overall growth. It provides insights into how government policies can influence economic growth. Capital, the engine of production. Capital refers to the tools, machinery, and infrastructure used in production. It plays a vital role in economic growth. A larger capital stock allows workers to produce more output. Think of a farmer with a tractor. The tractor is capital, and it allows the farmer to cultivate more land and harvest more crops. Investment is crucial for increasing the capital stock. When businesses invest in new equipment or build factories, they are adding to the capital stock. This leads to increased production capacity and economic growth. Governments can encourage investment through policies like tax breaks or subsidies. However, capital is subject to depreciation. Machinery wears out, buildings deteriorate, and technology becomes obsolete. To maintain a steady level of capital, new investment must not only cover depreciation, but also exceed it. This ensures a growing capital stock and sustained economic growth. The relationship between capital and output is subject to diminishing returns. This means that each additional unit of capital leads to a smaller increase in output than the previous unit. For example, adding a second tractor might significantly increase a farmer's output. However, adding a 10th tractor might only lead to a marginal improvement.
Labor, the human factor. Labor represents the human input in the production process. It encompasses the size of the workforce, their skills, and their education. A larger and more skilled labor force can contribute significantly to economic growth. Population growth is a key factor influencing the size of the labor force. A growing population can provide more workers, potentially increasing output. However, population growth must be accompanied by job creation to realize these benefits. Otherwise, it can lead to unemployment and social unrest. Education and training play a crucial role in enhancing labor productivity. A skilled workforce is more efficient and can produce more output with the same amount of capital. Investments in education and vocational training are therefore essential for long-term economic growth. Government policies can significantly impact the quality and quantity of labor. Policies promoting education, healthcare, and skill development can lead to a more productive workforce. This, in turn, contributes to sustained economic growth.
Technology, the catalyst for progress. Technology represents the knowledge and techniques used in the production process. It encompasses innovations, new processes, and improvements in existing technologies. Technological advancements allow us to produce more output with the same amount of capital and labor. Technological progress can manifest in various forms. It can be a new manufacturing process that reduces waste, a software program that automates tasks, or a scientific discovery that leads to new products. Each advancement has the potential to significantly impact economic growth. Innovation is the driving force behind technological progress. Research and development activities, both in the private and public sectors, lead to new discoveries and technological advancements. Governments can foster innovation through funding for research, intellectual property protection, and incentives for businesses to engage in R&D. Technological progress not only increases output but also improves the quality of goods and services. It can lead to the creation of entirely new industries, providing new employment opportunities and driving economic growth.
Section 5. Predicting economic growth. The Solow Model in action. The Solow Model combines the roles of capital, labor, and technology to explain economic growth. It argues that countries with higher rates of saving and investment tend to accumulate capital faster. This leads to higher levels of output per worker. The model predicts that economies will eventually reach a steady state. In this state, output per worker grows at the rate of technological progress. This implies that long-term economic growth is ultimately driven by technological advancement, not just by accumulating more capital. The Solow model highlights the importance of technological progress as a key driver of long-term economic growth. While capital accumulation is crucial in the short run, sustained growth in the long run requires continuous technological advancements. Understanding the dynamics of the Solow model is essential for policymakers. It underscores the need to invest in R&D, promote innovation, and adapt to technological changes to foster sustainable economic growth.
Section 6. Developed economies. Applying the Solow model. Developed economies, like the United States or Japan, generally have high levels of capital stock and a skilled labor force. However, their growth rates tend to be lower than those of developing countries. The Solow model offers an explanation for this phenomenon. According to the model, developed economies are closer to the steady state. They have already accumulated a significant amount of capital, and their labor forces are relatively skilled. This means that further increases in capital or labor have diminishing returns. Therefore, the primary driver of growth in developed economies is technological progress. Investments in R&D, innovation and education are crucial for these countries to maintain their living standards and achieve sustainable economic growth. The Solow model suggests that policies promoting innovation and technological adoption are key for developed economies. This includes investing in research, fostering a conducive environment for startups, and adapting regulations to encourage the adoption of new technologies.
Section 7. Developing economies. A different perspective. Developing economies, like India or Brazil, have lower levels of capital stock and a less skilled labor force compared to developed economies. They often experience higher rates of population growth. The Solow model offers a different perspective on growth in these countries. Developing economies have significant potential for growth through capital accumulation. As they invest in infrastructure, machinery, and education, their output per worker can increase significantly. This is known as catch-up growth. The Solow model suggests that developing economies can benefit from attracting foreign direct investment, or FDI. FDI can provide access to capital, technology, and expertise, accelerating their economic growth. However, it's important to note that simply accumulating capital is not enough. Developing economies also need to invest in education and skill development to ensure their workforce can effectively utilize the new capital. Section 8. Limitations of the Solow model. While the Solow model is a powerful tool for understanding economic growth, it has limitations. One key limitation is its assumption of exogenous technological progress. The model doesn't explain where technological progress comes from or how to influence its pace. The Solow model also doesn't explicitly account for factors like institutions, government policies, and income inequality. These factors can have a significant impact on a country's economic performance. For instance, corruption or political instability can deter investment and hinder growth, even with abundant capital. Furthermore, the model assumes a closed economy, meaning it doesn't consider international trade or capital flows. In reality, globalization has led to interconnected economies, and these interactions can significantly influence economic growth. Despite its limitations, the Solow model provides a valuable framework for understanding the fundamental drivers of economic growth. It highlights the importance of capital accumulation, labor productivity, and technological progress.
Section 9. The Solow Model and UPSC Aspirants. Understanding the Solow model is crucial for UPSC aspirants. It provides a foundation for analyzing economic growth, a key UPSC topic. Questions on India's growth, investment, and technology are common. The model helps understand economic policies like Make in India. It explains how policies boost capital, productivity, and innovation. The Solow model encourages critical thinking about economic issues. Mastering it enhances understanding and success in the UPSC exam.
Welcome to Chapter 10, Advanced Applications of the Solow Model. In this section, we will delve into how the Solow model has evolved and is applied in modern economics. This includes its significant role in policy making and economic forecasting. Firstly, we will explore how governments use the Solow model to design and implement economic policies. By understanding the factors contributing to economic growth, capital, labor, and technological progress, policymakers can craft strategies to enhance productivity and stimulate economic development. For instance, targeted investments in education and infrastructure can lead to long-term economic benefits, aligning with the principles outlined in the Solow model. Next, let's examine the use of the Solow model in economic forecasting. Economists employ the model to predict future growth trends and assess the potential impacts of various policy decisions. By analyzing historical data and projecting future scenarios, the Solow model provides valuable insights into the likely outcomes of different economic strategies. To provide a comprehensive understanding, we will look at case studies from both Indian and non-Indian contexts. In India, the Solow model has been instrumental in evaluating the success of initiatives like Digital India and Skill India, which aim to boost technological innovation and human capital development. These policies reflect the core principles of the Solow model, emphasizing the importance of technology and education in driving economic growth. On the global stage, we will examine how countries like South Korea and Germany have utilized the Solow model to achieve remarkable economic progress. These nations have implemented policies that focus on enhancing productivity through technological advancements and efficient capital allocation, serving as excellent examples of the model's practical applications. By understanding these advanced applications, we gain a deeper appreciation of the Solow model's relevance in today's economic landscape. It not only provides a theoretical framework, but also offers practical tools for analyzing and addressing real-world economic challenges. Stay tuned as we continue to explore the profound impact of the Solow model on modern economics and policymaking. Welcome to Chapter 11, Criticisms and Alternatives to the Solow Model. While the Solow model has been a cornerstone of economic theory, it is not without its critics. In this chapter, we will discuss the various criticisms of the Solow model and explore alternative models of economic growth. One of the primary criticisms is that the Solow model assumes that technological progress is exogenous, meaning it occurs independently of economic activities. Critics argue that this overlooks the role of innovation and research and development, R&D, driven by economic incentives. Renowned economist Paul Romer introduced the endogenous growth theory to address this limitation. Romer's model suggests that technological progress is the result of intentional actions by firms and individuals, emphasizing the importance of policy measures that foster innovation and R&D. Another critique is the Solow model's assumption of a closed economy with no international trade. In reality, economies are interconnected, and global trade plays a significant role in economic growth. The new trade theory, developed by economists like Paul Krugman, offers an alternative perspective by incorporating the effects of trade and economies of scale into growth models. This theory highlights how access to larger markets and the exchange of goods, services, and technologies can drive economic expansion. We will also examine the role of human capital in alternative growth models. The Solow model treats human capital as a part of labor, but models like the human capital theory, proposed by economists such as Gary Becker, emphasize the distinct and critical role of education and skills in driving economic growth. This theory argues that investments in education and training yield substantial returns, leading to higher productivity and economic development. Real-world examples further illustrate these points. For instance, countries like Singapore and Finland have successfully implemented policies based on endogenous growth theory and human capital theory, focusing on innovation, education, and open trade to achieve sustained economic growth. These examples contrast with the Solow model's assumptions and demonstrate the practical applicability of alternative growth theories. By understanding these criticisms and exploring alternative models, we gain a more comprehensive view of economic growth dynamics. It becomes evident that while the Solow model provides valuable insights, it is essential to consider other perspectives and approaches to fully grasp the complexities of economic development. Join us as we delve deeper into the diverse landscape of economic growth theories, offering a broader perspective on how nations can achieve and sustain economic prosperity.